Hello, everyone. My name is Mia. I use she, her pronouns. I am currently living in Portland, Oregon, working with the Black Food Sovereignty Coalition as their community program specialist. And I'm so excited because this is my first, big girl job. And it's doing agriculture work, but also doing community-based programming that centers the lives of people who look like me and helping them access fresh and healthy food and also wellness and just general community of folks who believe in their liberation as much as their own. I'm an alum of MESA's Training in Applied Agroecology program, Cohort 6, and I'm going to be sharing a presentation today about public policy incidents and advocacy. So agroecology as an overarching systems framework can help guide public policies towards eliminating hunger, absolving poverty, and encouraging responsible production and consumption. The continued use and spread of agroecological knowledge and practice can aid in conquering context-specific barriers. Thus, agroecology must be promoted in the mainstream. This essentially means that agroecology reveals the different implications of what is occurring in a society and how to go about fixing them. If we understand agroecology as being reflective of something dealing with food, water, education, access, reproductive freedom, and things of that nature, we can see the ways in which that it would be a great systems framework to understand greater political ideologies and legislation. A participatory approach in agroecology gives community members the possibility of choosing what changes to make and innovations to develop in matters surrounding sustainable food and agriculture systems. So participatory approach essentially means that those who are needing, say, solutions or resources also are the ones who are actively making the decisions for these things. The processes by which these actions are taken and the desired outcomes are collectively debated with and across cooperative projects. This involves the people who need these things in the kind of evolution of them becoming or coming into fruition. So from an idea into an actual practice or into an actual thing. Say it's a much needed water tank, or say it's a new system for water in general, or maybe ideas around food production. The people who need these things should be involved in them because they have direct knowledge of the resources they need and the community members that are involved. And by implementing a participatory approach, you're giving communities and their members agency in making decisions and creating systems and resources that are most relevant and close to them in their livelihood. Representation in political spaces. Rural and urban community members alike seek to influence policy related to agroecology and to mobilize institutional cultural change. There might be a narrative that only urban community members are aware of their government and their political sphere, but this is not at all true. Rural community members alike are also being involved in seeking out their legislators and their representatives to actively voice their positions and their experiences in their community. The primary method of doing so is through the formal representation of organizations and communities in governmental and political arenas. So all stakeholders in a community should be represented in political arenas to ensure that all voices are being heard and that all experiences are being accounted for so that those aren't left out and the people making decisions do not have a relationship to the things that they are trying to promote. So changing policy and mindsets. A transition to agroecology on a global scale requires not only a change in policy, but a change in the way that people view the world. So establishing a holistic view of the world that it replaces the existing industrial one would allow people to have more whole views of what's really going on and the different factors that cause people to have different experiences. And this is where agroecology really is a vital player. Resistance to agroecology mainly derives from those vested politically and economically in industrial food and agriculture systems and processes, saying that they have more of, say, a profit or political benefit in promoting industry, which inevitably harms people who may not have as much money or political power as others. And so stepping forward with sustainable solutions through policy can empower the agroecology movement. This graphic essentially shows barriers to sustainable agriculture in all of the different sectors. So we have production, environment, well-being, economics. And these barriers usually are powerful vested interests in existing policies, lack of information and knowledge, weak infrastructure, and other economic challenges, and misperceptions and cultural biases. And what this graphic essentially shows is what needs to happen, what needs to break down these barriers in order for us to achieve sustainable agriculture. So these look like legal instruments, enhancing security of land tenure, measures to ensure open and competitive markets. This also looks like reduction of commercial influence in government. So again, de-industrializing and disempowering those with industrial influence. Knowledge-based instruments look like public investment, agroecological research, farmer engagement and research and development, outreach to improve farmer knowledge and capacity. This is where the participatory action research comes in, and also formal representation. And the last thing is financial instruments. So this is increased farmer access to capital and elimination of crop subsidies and biofuel incentives. So this is thinking fair taxes, fair financial dividends and give outs, as well as bridging the gap with grants and funding for those who have disproportionately not received these things. This also looks like investment in rural infrastructure and targeting input subsidies for resource-poor farmers. So this is how we can kind of generate a socio-political, economic, and environmental transformation to essentially help people be their own advocates better, but also hold accountable those who have hands in the fact that there are barriers to sustainable agriculture and widespread, healthy, and sustainable economic and food systems in communities, urban and rural. Here are my references, and if you would like to contact me, here's my email and my link to my LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time for listening to my presentation today.